We're live from Vermont. Back to our Reddit reviews. I can't go to bed without getting to an ultimate disposition on one. I feel like the Reddit reviews, we love them, but they always start coherently and end in some kind of incoherent stream of consciousness. Oh, this is the one I wanted to read. This is the one. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. I had 4 paranormal events happen to me right here. This is one of them. This is one of them. I sucked at high school, so got moved from Herman after 3 years to an OYAP program at the former Century in Windsor, Ontario. I understand 25% of that sentence. I would take the bus or get picked up midday and work at a local restaurant for my apprenticeship. That's kind of cool. My stepdad, when he was alive, he would always pick me up. For whatever reason, that day I didn't have work, and we were just going home. Okay. I do not know why, but he had to take a different way home that day. This is where it starts to go awry. This is the point, right? We made a right down the street off to Tecumseh Road. Now we're getting specifics here. Let's get that Google Maps out. Tecumseh Road. Both my parents had paranormal experiences in the same apartment. Both are once. Wow. Dang it, that's really cool. I had a paranormal experience. I'm gonna take a break in this and tell you I had a paranormal experience not terribly long ago. I mean, I think it was last year, maybe, here in Vermont. I was staying in the oldest continually operated in the entire state. And I love this place. It's not very far from where I am right now, actually. Probably about 9 miles, maybe 6. And I was staying in that hotel. I love that hotel. Getting back to the paranormal aspect of this, um, I was sleeping in the middle of the night. Well, it wasn't even really that. Yeah, it was in the middle of the night. I was sleeping in the middle of the night, and I was woken up, and my arm was. I looked, trying to figure out what. I looked, and I see my arm standing up like this as I'm laying flat, and I'm all right. I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on. I put it down, and I put it down, and I feel a hand pull it back up, and I try to pull it down, and it's resisting me for a second. Finally, it lets it whatever it. I'm released from that. I get up, I turn on the lights, I look in the bathrooms. Place is empty. Let me tell you something. I have booked that room every night because I've been back there many times. I always stay in that room. Always. Most people would think that you wouldn't. I love it, and I have experienced something another time as well. Subsequent to that, only one other time though. Um, but maybe I should stay there more. Yeah. Oof. I want to see that. Shoot me that. Shoot me the link. I want to see that one if you can. I love that. I love. Yeah, that's pretty. That's kind of creepy. I love that stuff. I had that on my feed. I love that feed. That's pretty cool stuff. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to this person. This one's weird. All right, so they're playing at the end of the driveway. Okay, so they turn down the road. It was a regular suburban street. Okay, halfway down the block on the left, there are about 4 or 5 children. Got it. We're all at the end of the driveway. Okay. Now, about 5 houses down on the right, I'm in the passenger seat and I see this. Who's driving? I guess it doesn't matter. I see this gigantic dog, okay, standing at the end of the driveway. Is that the end of the driveway where the kids are? Mm. No, because this person said it was down the street. Okay, got it. The dog was huge. My jaw dropped from the size. What was odd was that it was all black, like really black. I can't explain it. The black was a void color. Okay. Actually, I have another paranormal experience, but I'll tell you that this goes back when I was in military school. But I'll tell you that another time. Anyway, the dog was huge. Yeah, it was very black. So I'm guessing like a black void, like a shadow figure. Okay, got it. That's kind of cool though. If I can get a dog that black, I'm talking really like black hole black. That would be kind of cool. I have 2 black cats. Anyway, I can't explain it. The black was void color. It was staring right at the children down the street. Okay, now we know that it wasn't the same driveway as the children. Got it. It was staring at them, licking its lips. 5 children. God forbid. It was not a friendly stare. I kind of got that impression, but an angry one you would assume a dog like this to have. When my stepdad, his truck drove by it, we broke the gaze it had on the kids, and it looked right at me. No owner, nobody else around. The street felt like a desert, apparently. Okay, except for the kids. Maybe they're in Scottsdale, Arizona, right? Except for the kids, us, and the giant black dog. I wonder if the kids saw it as well. Just want to, I had to put it out there. Black dogs are usually a sign of not a good sign. It's an ill omen. Although there's a very small majority of people that say they could also be there for protection. But the vast majority of associations of black dogs are harbingers of death. That's great. No collar and no leash. Bet you called the city on them. Its eyes were bright red. Okay, well, then this is different. Maybe it was an albino. No, it's not an albino. He's black. Okay, like a cartoon. It was bright red like a cartoon. Okay, and you would imagine an evil entity. Bright, fiery red eyes with black dots in the middle of each. You just said they were completely red. Now you're saying he's got black dots in the center of each. He looked right at me, like into me almost. Then the stare went back to the kids, and his head went down, like he was going to charge them. What the hell's going on here? How about yelling out to the kids? What are you doing? You're still in the car? What are you doing, staring at those 5 kids? I'm a little suspicious of this person. I shouldn't say that. I'm not going to guess. I don't know who they are, what they're doing. Probably patrolling like good citizens. Um, so it's staring back at the kids. It wants to charge them. I yelled to my stepdad, "Did you just see that dog? He had red eyes. He was looking at all those kids." He checked out driving and said he didn't see it or the kids. He didn't even see the kids. I was 17 at the time. Okay. I don't understand how he didn't see any of them. And for the life of me, I can't remember the reason for the different route home. I'll tell you, he probably was picking up his meth. He had to make a stop. That's it. The giant black demon dog on the way home from high school. One of the 3 paranormal events that have happened to me here. I am convinced the dog was paranormal, possibly demonic. I'd have to agree with that to the extent it existed. I don't know if it was me. I would have jumped out of the moving vehicle. I would seriously have done that. Jump right out of the moving vehicle to get out and examine it. I don't care. I need to see this thing. Um, he says he's not even religious, this person, but there was something strange happening in that neighborhood that day. I think I know which street. I should go back and take pictures. Not 100% though. Well, I mean, he's given us a lot of clues. We know it's in Ontario. We know that something OYAP program at the former Century in Windsor, Ontario. As I said, 25% of that sentence I've got. I don't really know what any of that is. I'm sure I could look it up. We knew they made a right on Tekumesh, no, Teku Mesh Sesh Teko Tekum Set. Tekum Set. You know what? I don't. He made a right on some road. Got it. It was a regular suburban street. We know it's a regular suburban street. That we know. We probably have more than information here to track this person down. Or maybe I could just respond to them right now. Upvote it. To the extent you're not making this up, I have a few things to ask. Let's see what was I going to say? Can you can you tell me where you live? Would that be weird to ask on Reddit? Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's germane to what's going on here, right? It's germane. Um, I want to know, did his dad really not see the kids playing? Well, he lived in that town. I'm going to say, have you ever, here's the question. This is how we started. Have you ever driven down that street before, ever in your life? Is this the first time ever down that street? Why am I asking that question? Because then the next question is, assuming you have driven down that street, have you ever seen those 5 children that somehow didn't exist? That they really weren't there? So, first question. Have you actually I don't have to type it out. Have you ever driven down that street before at all? Or is this the first time that you drove down that street? If you've driven down that street before, have you ever seen any children there? Is it a big town or a small town? In either case, are you aware of any kids that live on that block? It sounded like you said it was close to the high school. Maybe there are kids there. I'm curious because I'm trying to gauge why your father didn't see the children. I don't know. I feel like that came off a little weird. Does that sound weird? Do I sound? I don't know. I feel like that sounded kind of weird. I'm talking about children. Have you ever driven down that street before at all, or is this the first time that you drove down that street? You know what? We're gonna just end it right there because I don't, I don't know if that comes off a little weird. Whoops! I don't need two question marks. Damn it! Two question marks sounds like I'm being a jerk, right? Well, I can edit. Take one of those off because that sounds like come on, you're it's preposterous. It's preposterous. They're gonna look. They'll see that I edited. They'll be like, "We know this guy. Yeah, we know this guy. We know what he was doing." Oh, only one other comment. Thanks for sharing your experience. Huh? Right? That's very nice. It's very, and they got two upvotes. Probably they up. No, they couldn't have upvoted themselves. Okay. Well, there's nothing. I don't know necessarily. I mean, as far as disproving this, there's a lot of information here, so I don't know necessarily that we're going to be disproving this. If anything, there's enough information and detail to make me consider this somewhat credible. I don't get the feeling that this person's, doing some kind of crazy baloney. Although this has been on here for 2 days and it only has two comments and five upvotes. It's kind of weird, and I don't even see my comment anymore. Did my comment get deleted or something like that? No, what happened to my comment? Well, there goes that. I'm not going to do it again. I don't know. No, it says there's two, but I can't see it. I don't know. Listen, I don't know. I don't think you know what? We can always circle back to that. I am curious. There's so many of these I want to follow up on, so many of these, but alas, we can't we can't solve all the world's problems. But getting back to that one, I actually find that to be rather credible. I find that to be rather credible. That one. I look at the details. I look. This person doesn't have too much. What I should really do is look at who's saying it. If they, if it looks like they're karma farming, that's how you really determine credibility of these people. I've learned that myself. See, but I like that's one I like. Here's another one. Okay. Whoa. Okay. I feel like I did this one. No. Okay. Haunted Northwest Ohio apartment. My ghost encounter. That's what it's entitled. I never posted to Reddit before, so today I thought I would share one of my many ghost encounters in Northwest Ohio, 2000 to 2001. Wow, just 1 year. I lived in an old apartment in a historical Northwest Ohio town in a historical building converted to historic. No, that'd be funny if you said historical to apartments downtown. My small one bathroom, one bedroom apartment had two windows, both facing the roof of the adjoining building. Now that's a view. That's a view. That's a gorgeous view. Better be reflected in the price, I'll tell you that. My apartment always had a somewhat heavy feeling, but I really noticed as it was my first apartment and I felt so proud and independent. I was in college part time, worked full time, lots of friends, had a not serious SO. I don't know what that means. And my first apartment all to myself, life was good. SO. Had a not serious SO. What does SO mean? Had a not serious SO. I'm assuming S stands for, we all know what that means, but I mean, the only thing that comes to mind, I don't even know if I can say it on YouTube. It'll probably get me demonetized, but it's just kind of weird. I don't know what that is. That should be my response to this whole thing. Out of this entire thing, and it's like, well, what is an SO? Okay, like I said, I've always. That said, I've always struggled with depression. So despite all the good things, sometimes that depression would grip me for months at a time. Well, listen, I can stop you right there. If you're depressed, just look out those windows. It's got two windows, both facing the roof line. Not bad. That's okay. I lived in a studio apartment one time in Manhattan, Upper East Side. And let me tell you something right now. It was one room, and I said one room. Fourth floor walk up. One room. Toilet, bed, kitchen. Yeah. And that was expensive. Upper East Side, 79th in York. Damn. I should have held on to that apartment. Alas, let's get back to this person. So they struggle. I don't know why they struggle with depression. Okay, got it. Okay. It all started slowly and mostly in the bathroom. Weird noises, the shower door opening and closing, things like that. That's alarming. Sometimes when I would sit alone at night watching TV, it would literally feel like there was another person in the room with me. Okay, it's scary. Shortly after I moved in, as I lay sleeping in bed, I heard a noise and felt someone crawl into bed with me. I think I've seen about 100 movies, 100 horror movies with that happening. In fact, I just saw one last night, and this happened in that movie. Okay. It's your typical horror trope, is what it is. When I was waking at 3 a.m., I was waking at 3 a.m. close to the graveyard river. Close to graveyard river. Wow, that sounds creepy. A graveyard river. Those are two things I don't know. I mean, the river can rip all the graves out. I don't know if I want to be buried there. No light here. Animal charging at me. Night sound gets right into my face. And there's nothing there. What did it sound like? Can I ask you? You said an animal charging at you. What did it sound like? It was like, like that was like, did you hear like, and what were you doing in a graveyard at 3 a.m.? Actually, like a boar. Wow. Actually, here I am asking you what you're doing in a graveyard at 3 a.m. I was at a graveyard at 3 a.m. when I was younger using a non-contact infrared thermometer. Oh, it's a shortcut to it. Wow, is a graveyard a shortcut to, that's pretty cool. That's cool. Can you see it from your apartment? Probably not. That'd be cool though if it could. That'd be cool to live right next to it. Quiet, never have any noise from your neighbors. Plus, it's kind of cool. Anyway, that's pretty cool. So you heard this weird noise, but you didn't see anything, right? You didn't see a thing. Hmm. Did you stay there? Did you stay to check it out? Were you like looking around, see what's going on? I would have. Well, I guess it's easy to say I would have now, but in the moment, you don't know. It could have been a boar, like you said. Who knows what the hell it is? You got to kind of like gauge, you know, you know. How do you know it wasn't like someone trying to mug you? I've been mugged 3 times in my life. Sound hallucinations, but I never had any before. I was scared, and yeah, you sped up home, huh? You sped up home. Yeah. You did. Okay, so you didn't just like book it. You actually you took out a flashlight and you looked around. Good for you. Damn. All right. So yeah, a lot of people probably would have just been like, "Psh." So you looked around and you saw nothing. Okay. And it's not like there was like a lot of trees and brush. Like clearly you would have been able to see. And that's really interesting. Wow. It sounded like a boar. And you didn't see it, and yeah, it was okay, so it was an empty field. Because I'm picturing like Yeah, so you would have obviously seen somebody. You would have seen something. And let me ask you something. I know it's probably happened a long time ago. You probably don't remember, but if you do, how close did it sound to you? Did it sound like it was right next to you? Did it sound like it was, and did it sound like, here's the next question. Did it sound like it was coming from low down the sound, or did it sound like it was coming from like like level with us if we were standing? In other words, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Wow, that's scary. That's scary. Yeah, but I got to give you props for checking that out. A lot of people might have been, oh, I would have probably thought it was a stray dog. Oh, it did sound low down. So yeah, okay. Oh wow, and it stopped right in front. So and you immediately looked with the flashlight. You're like, shh, shh, so you could see, but you didn't see anything. Wow. Whew. And wow. Yeah, that's more than enough. Pointing the flashlight around is more than enough. I mean, you're in a field. Well, I mean, as a guy from New York, even fields around here are pretty bright. So I don't know how dark that field is by you, although I'm in Vermont right now, and let me tell you, it's pretty dark out. That is a cool story, and I'm assuming you've probably walked past there many times afterwards, following that as well. And I'm assuming you didn't experience that again, otherwise you would have said, yeah, wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, and you felt it approach you too. Damn. I would have gone back there. I'll tell you one thing, there's a motel right down there where I shouldn't use this. I read in the paper someone must have OD'd. Okay, terrible, terrible story. Somebody must have OD'd. This was like I want to say probably like 2 years ago. It's a motel, not a hotel, and it's way down there. And I remember reading in the paper someone OD'd in there, and the weird part is that they didn't find the body for several days. Okay, that's the point. They didn't find the body for several days. So, and it was summer, and this motel doesn't see a lot of action. So we know what happens when that. So it started to decompose and all this stuff, and when they finally got it, anyway. Long story short, the owner, obviously has fixed the motel up. He's working. There's people in there, obviously, and I know the room number. I'm telling you, I mean, it's a horrible thing that happened, but we were considering maybe staying the night there and doing a video. I don't know. I mean, it's not. It would just be interesting. Hope it doesn't smell. You know, that gets into the carpet, into the walls, and this guy. It looks like a seedy motel. So no, I wonder if this guy just did a rinse. I don't know what he did. All right, it all started mostly in the bathroom. Usually starts with 3 wraps. Weird noises, the shower door opening and closing, things like that. Sometimes when I would sit alone at night watching TV, it would literally feel like another person was in the room with me. Shortly after I moved in, as I lay sleeping in bed, did I say all this? Yes, I. Okay, they felt somebody hop in bed with them. Okay. Oh no, I don't know if I said that. In my head, I thought, oh, it's just SO hopping into bed. This is something I've got to know. What does SO mean? Actual better. I mean, that's what SO means. I can't think of what. Oh, it's just it's SO hopping. Oh, maybe it's their initials. Could just be their initials. Okay, so it's just their partner or whoever hopping into bed. That's going to really bother me. I'm going to have to write. I got to ask this person. But then I realized he didn't have a key to my place yet. Okay, so the SO must be somebody maybe they're dating, they're courting, right? Oh, you know what? To be fair, that word has been phased out. No one uses significant other anymore. Okay? Nobody uses that. But thank you. You are on it. You are totally on it today, man. Damn, you are on it. Significant other. People don't use that word anymore. Okay. Can you still hear me? Because my headphones just went out. That's great. This is fantastic. Yes. Good. Good. There you go. We have to know what happens to SO, who I, for some reason, I must be so demented in my mind that I thought it meant sexual offender. This is insane. Okay, thank you. Good. This is insane that I thought it meant what I just said. Well, I'll only say it once. Okay. So is their significant other hopping into bed and they realize they didn't have a key to their place yet? Maybe crawled in a window. That would be weird, huh? Okay. My brother must be my brother, but he wouldn't get into my bed with me. We would just lay on the couch if he was out late with his girlfriend and he didn't want to go back to our parents' house. So with my eyes shut, I reached behind me and felt the empty bed. I slowly looked over my shoulder and I saw a dent. Whoa, this is starting to get scary. I saw a dent in the pillow and the outline of something next to me. Yeah, well, maybe, your partner, not for nothing, I have a depression in my bed as well. It's really annoying. The next day, I pulled my hand back. So she put her hand over there. She saw the dent in the pillow, whatever. I pulled my hand back so fast and hid tight under my covers, waiting for morning. That is insane. You see something like that, and it it's next to you. Why would you do that? I would think you'd get up and run out of the room or scream, but no, you go into the covers and the thing is right next to you. Well, purportedly. You don't know if that's the case. Got it. Okay. So what does she do? I don't know if this is a she. You know what? For the purpose of this, I'm gonna pretend it's a she. Okay. I don't know. I get the sense that it is. But don't worry. Don't worry, everybody, because guess what? Ladies and gentlemen, the next day she made an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm making an announcement. It wasn't to ladies and gentlemen, it was to the ghost. Got it. I told the ghost we could live together, but it could not scare me. No slamming things, no jump scares. Okay, there's just two things. We could live together if the ghost is nice. The apartment quieted, but I could still feel the presence watching me from time to time. Some people get off on that. One night over Christmas specifically, I was feeling lonely, all alone in my apartment for the first time after coming home from visiting family, and I could feel someone standing over me as I lay on the couch by my lit Christmas tree. That's really nice. Um, that night, I decided to talk to him. Just felt. I wonder. I have a question for this person. Did you tell your SO about this? I would love to get the input of that person. Maybe not. Maybe they did, and then they broke up, and now she's writing this as some side, to try to. Anyway, getting back to this. Okay. Um, they felt like it was him, and he was lonely too. That's the feeling. Yeah. Okay. So she talked to him, aka nobody, for a long time that night. I talked to him whenever I could feel him, which was often. That's weird. When I moved out of the apartment, I said goodbye and asked him to respect the new tenants. A few years later, after I had moved away, a friend of mine let me know that he worked with the sister of a man who had successfully, I'm not kidding, they wrote this, self harmed in that apartment. They wrote that on Reddit, of all things. They don't censor anything. I can't even say what I thought SO was, which is, I need to probably seek psychiatric help for that. I don't know. He was a lonely, sad guy, and to this day, I hope he's found peace and left that apartment. Wow. Wow. I don't know. I gotta be honest with you. I don't know how well I can move past that depression in the bed. That's a little scary. You reach over your bed and there's a depression next to you. You know there's no one else. You didn't get a key. You didn't give a key. Oh, cool. Hello. Yeah, so you lay over in bed There's no one there. I mean, I literally just watched a horror. Yeah, that's the new Conjuring movie. I just watched a new that happened in the new Conjuring movie, and this is supposed to be the last Conjuring movie, FYI. It's okay. They always say it's the last. The last one involving, the main cast that they have right now. It's pretty good. You know, Distracto from yeah. I don't know. What do we think about this? Do we think this makes any sense? Okay, so she talked to him. I feel like this was on a haunting. I feel like they stole this from a haunting. Maybe this is the genesis of that episode. What am I talking about? For all we know, no, because this was just posted 2 days ago. Hmm. Okay, here's one I wanted to read. This one we'll make this be the last one. Last one because we have we put anyone to bed. The first one I believe may actually have merit. I'm gonna be stay it right now. I believe the first one had merit. First one we read, the person did not look like they were karma farming, so they get points for me for being somewhat credible. And just to that, the second one after that, I don't know, black dog, black as a void. Actually, you know what? I actually think that I don't see any reason to not find that credible. That could be credible. Message retracted. I saw that. Yeah, I don't know. Black dog one actually seems to make sense, but I have a question. I wrote the question out, and now it disappeared from the thread. That one I was actually very interested in. He sees a black dog. He sees 5 children. He's 17. He's being driven home by his parents. I think presumably from high school, if I remember correctly, that he said right. So he's leaving. His stepfather is driving him. They drive down a road. He doesn't know why they took a different route that day, but they took a different route. When they turn that different route, he says he sees 5 children playing at the end of a driveway. Across the street, he sees a dog, black as night. He says black as pitch, so black, like a black hole black, like really black. And he says it had red eyes and black pupils, I think he said, right? So from Crazy Town right now. Yeah. So he sees this black dog, sees the red eyes, the pupils. He's 17, stepdad driving home. He asks his dad, "Did you just see that? There's a dog, black as night, black as pitch, with red eyes." Stepfather says, "No, I didn't see it." And then they drive home. Okay, you know what? Now that I've laid that all out, we've read it, we've went through it, and now I've really laid it out. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. No, I did not see it. Son. I don't know. It's his stepson. Does he call him son? Maybe not. Hi, Dad. Look. Nah, I didn't see it. Keep driving. If it was me, I would have knocked open that door, even if it was going 60 miles per hour, tucked and rolled to see it. And then the stepfather says he didn't see the kids or the dog. All right. Well, you've lived in this town your whole life. You're driving home from high school. This road, you're going to tell me you've never driven down this road before. Never, ever, ever, ever. And it's within walking distance of the high school. Do you know any kids that live on that block? Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it works differently in other states. Maybe it's more rural. I don't know. These are questions I would have loved to ask that person. Anyway, and then this last one, I don't know if I believe this most recent one. Sounded like a baloney. I don't know. I have to say though, I'm more convinced with these ghost threads than I was last stream with the glitch in the Matrix. I mean, the last one we did, I think I may be launching that. Yeah, I turned it into a video. I'm launching it tomorrow as a video. That stream. Um, some dude in the glitch, they put some cream cheese in the fridge. They clean out the fridge, brand new fridge. They clean it out. They know they have bought a brand new tub of cream cheese. They put it in the fridge. It's gone. They look everywhere for it. Then they go and buy another tub. This is now post cleaning of the fridge. They get that extra tub. They open up the fridge. The other tub's in the fridge. Brand new fridge. So now they have 2 tubs. Somebody wrote in. They commented, "Hey, why don't you return one of them?" My position was that I don't know if I'm gonna, how do you know? If this went into, if this, as they are suggesting, went into another dimension, maybe somewhere else, you really want to eat that? You want to return that? Who knows what's in it? I might keep it. Actually, you know what? I may eat that. Maybe that dimension's a little better. Maybe I'm doing better in life in that other dimension, huh? Or maybe I'm doing worse. I don't know. Let's see. But let's see how this person's doing. The most compelling ghost experience I've had in my life was while I was living in Japan. I really want to live in Japan. That would be really cool. A few years ago, actually, I don't know. I hate fish. I don't eat fish. Anything that comes out of the ocean, I may not do so well there. A few years ago, my wife and I were living with a friend in Japan. Okay. She had a house with a large open living room with French doors leading out to the garden and a half wall with an office space behind it. I'm picturing it. Okay. We were sleeping the yurt in the garden. We were sleeping the yurt in the garden. YURT. I don't know. I guess it's not as easy as SO, huh? Significant other. Damn it. I feel like such a schmuck for not getting that one. I'm a dope. Okay. Where were we? So they were in the yard with the yurt. Got it. Every day I work in the office and the house. My wife work in the yurt. See what I'm talking about? They go from coherence to incoherence. Doesn't make any sense. So one day I'm taking a break, watching some videos online, and something catches my eye. This all happened in a split second. I turned my head. There appeared to be a shadow of a small old woman. Before my brain could fully register what I was looking at, it rushed at me. I jumped out of skin and it was gone. Wait, yeah, he jumped out of skin and it was gone. Maybe he's a skinwalker. He jumped out of skin. I don't know what that means, but okay. But it's not over yet. So it's not over yet. It all happened so quick. I just thought my mind was playing tricks on me. I never mentioned it to anyone, except for right now when you're karma farming, 195 upvotes. It all happened so quick. I just thought my mind, got it. We got that already. I never mentioned to anyone, got it. So every night before bed, my wife would ask me to come into the main house with her. Why does she normally have you sleep in the yard or in the doghouse? Okay. So every night before bed, my wife would ask me to come. It's bedtime. Would you mind joining me in the main house for this evening? Sure, honey. Got it. And he'd wait in the corridor. Oh, okay, here we go. I guess they live in, I don't understand it. So every night before bed, my wife would ask me to come into the main house with her. And he would and ask, he's not saying this, but and ask him to wait in the hallway so that she could use the bathroom. At first, it was cute, but after a while it started to get a bit irritating, and I asked why a grown woman needed someone to come with her to the bed. It took you all that time to ask her? I would have asked right away. Why do you need me to come to the bathroom with you? That's the first question I'd ask. Some things are, some things are better left. Something we need some secrets between us here. One of them is the bathroom. Yeah, that's right. You got to be nice to yourself, especially in the bathroom. You got to be nice to yourself. So she told me that she had been in the living room area, the same place that this person saw the shadow of the old woman. Looking at her reflection in the French doors, when she saw an old woman standing behind her in the reflection, she spun around and there was no one there. Okay. Oh, look, the OP gave us some more information. This is always good. We didn't ask at the time, but years later, a few months ago, funnily enough, she was in England. She came around to say hi. Who, the person that lived there afterwards? Okay. So we told her about what we'd seen, and she said she never seen anything personally. However, oh no, the owner they're talking about. However, she said she did say that it was odd that we should say that because there is a tatami room in the house that everybody refuses to sleep in. The point that when her children have friends over, they would rather sleep on the hard, cold wooden floor than be put in that room. No one has ever been no one has ever quite been able to say why. However, at the time, that room was her mother-in-law's private apartment, so we never went near it. So who knows how or if the two are related? Maybe the Japanese ghost just doesn't like foreigners in her house. Wow, wow, damn. So this so this is literally another horror movie trope. So they turn around, they feel somebody behind, they turn around, and they sees a ghost of an old woman rush them. So this one, once again, this one there's another trick here. I feel that there may be some credibility here because because the OP didn't just post something and leave it. They posted it and then they're responding to comments, or at least one comment they responded to. Somebody wrote very compelling. Mhm. I like that they responded. It tells me that they have some investment in this posting this. I don't know. Of all the ones that we did today, my favorite one was it's toss up. The black dog. What did we do after the black dog? We had the black dog, and there was another one. The black dog. I just have so many questions about. The first one was rather interesting too. What was the first one about already? Damn it. I still think the black dog one is the best. Oh no, one of the yeah, the Japanese one, I mean that's scary. I'll give you that. That's scary. It's scary. You see, oh yeah, I didn't really like the one. She turns around. There's a depression in her bed. My mattress has got a huge depression in it. I lay down on my mattress. It's like falling into a giant chasm. But she said she saw it on the pillow. I just that one. I don't understand how you could, if something like that happened to you. So now you see a depression next to you in bed. Let's say it's your typical horror ghost sleeping next to you. You turn around and with the covers on top of you and just turn around and hide like that till morning. And then what? What happens when it goes and does whatever it does to you or rips the sheets off or something like that? No, you get up, you confront whatever you turn on a light, you do what you did. You take the flash. You know what's interesting? It's interesting that you had a flashlight on you. Huh? When you were in the graveyard. Very lucky that you had a flash. You probably used your phone flashlight. Now that I think about it, probably right. Yeah. I think I like yours. Yeah, Black Hood. I think I like your story is probably out of all of them. Yeah, I knew you used your phone. Yeah, yeah. I think I like your story the best. That's probably the best one. Yeah. 'Cause there's so many questions that I mean, like, listen, you're cutting through the graveyard at night. You literally heard it, and it's like, that's why I was wondering, I was like, "How close was it?" You said it felt like it was almost right up to you. Like, it was right up to you. So you heard it, and it was low down, probably around this in the area of where a dog would be. I got it, something like that. But, let me ask you one other question I have. I Was it, like, so dark that like, without that flashlight that you can't see anything? Like, is that how dark it was? You at the Holiday Inn. It was okay, so it was super dark, okay. So in other words, you couldn't see. Oh, okay, so you wouldn't be able to see anything without that flashlight, you'd be done. Got it. Wow, my computer's going into power saving mode for some reason. Must be was this, well, I don't know. Wow, I gotta tell you, that is a crazy story. Much better than these. You gotta post it on Reddit. We'll do a Reddit talk on that one. Anyway, very short, and it was short grass on top of that? Okay, but it was pitch black, probably I'm assuming probably a rural area. Probably a rural area. That's why it was pitch black, otherwise you'd have ambient light. I mean, if it was by me in New York, you could if you had a field, it's daylight 24 hours a day. Um, and you shined your flash. Okay, you did your phone flash. I hate the phone flashlight. I mean, it's terrible. I feel like it's almost better. It's almost easier to see without the light at all. It only lets you see like right in front of you. But you said it was right there, so you should have been able to see it. Yeah, I would have been freaked. I would have freaked out. But remember my story. I stayed in that hotel, the oldest continually running hotel in Vermont. Something grabbed me out of bed. That's nothing. I'll give you one last story. Well, hey, you know what? We'll play a game. So let's see if I can finish my story before the battery runs out and this entire live session gets shut down. So I was in military school, okay, in the barracks, sleeping in my room. My roommate was on some bivouac in Florida, and I was in military school here in Vermont. This is why I love Vermont. So I was in here, and I was 18. Um, I remember my roommate was out, as I said, and since we were under arms, the doors had to be locked at all times. So the doors were locked. I knew my roommate was gone, and yeah, okay. So what you call it? In the middle of the night, I wake up for some reason. I see this black cloud coming into the room, passes the rifle rack. I'm on the top bunk, floats on top of me. I'm wide awake, and it starts strangling me. Manual strangulation. Okay, and I'm having the life choked out of me, and I can't. My body is frozen. I can't move. I can move my eyes, and I can, it's a state of wakefulness. I'm completely awake, and finally, eventually, it released me after you know freaking out for a while, and probably saying a handful of prayers. And as soon as it released me, I got up, and must have been like 3 in the morning. I get up, bang on my first sergeant's door, first sergeant, first sergeant. I just reporting what happened, and then like that was a big mistake. I probably should have kept that one to myself. No, it was no dream. It was definitely not a dream. No, not this was not. I was awake. I was awake. Everything I could see everything in that room, and I was trying to figure out why I couldn't move my body, and I'm looking around. I could move my eyes completely, and I could see it, and I could feel it. I could see its hands, and I'm just waiting. I almost felt like I was waiting, and for it to release me. And then as soon as it did, I was like, boom, and I just got immediately like jumped down the bunk and reported to my first sergeant. Boom, 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 boom. Woke up, and he was not happy. No, sir. That was not a good that was a very stupid thing for me to do. I should just shut up and went back to bed, but I did. There was a ghost in I didn't say there was a ghost in my room. I said there was an intruder in my room. He says, "How could well, did you leave your door unlocked?" And I'll leave your door unlocked. No, I didn't leave my door unlocked. It's locked. Well, then how's there an intruder in your room? Do you have your key? Yes, I have my key. And there was no explanation for it. Though I'll tell you one thing, a lot of dead bodies, a lot of dead bodies, a lot of death happened in that military school. A lot of death, and it's been around. Revolutionary War. They coined the term citizen soldier, and they train Revolutionary War people. So it's old. Okay, it's old. I think somebody even hanged themselves in my barracks. God, I had the worst room. It was right next to the artillery range. Fucking, I always get the worst luck. Although that was a pretty serious, cool thing. I know it's scary, right? I was freaked out. Freaked out. I saw it, and I didn't even mention it was this overwhelming. I forgot I didn't even mention this overwhelming sense of malevolence. Just this sense of absolute malevolence that I can't describe, other than just say the word malevolence. I can't describe it, but it was so strong that it permeates all of your senses. It's everything. Your smell, your taste, touch, everything. You just feel this, and it's just waves and waves of unrestrained rage and hate. And it just hits you, and it just absorbs. It's just like, whoa. It's just so overwhelming. It was the weirdest thing. Yeah. Yeah, it got physical. It got but, I suppose the only reason I find yeah, I was scared. The one with the pulling me out of bed, I wasn't scared. Isn't that weird? I wasn't scared. In fact, I looked around, opened lights, and then I went back to bed. I don't now that I say it out loud, it sounds weird. I wasn't scared because I didn't feel that overwhelming sense of malevolence that I did in this one. I mean, it was, like I said, overpowering. The senses just it was almost intoxicating, but it was so overwhelming that you're that the sense of powerlessness is palpable. I'm gonna say that 3 times fast. Palpable powerlessness. Can you say that? Palpable powerlessness. Pretty good, right? Yeah. Yeah, hospitals, barracks. Yeah. Yeah. The adrenaline kicked in. I was like, I was that was so terrible. Yeah. But the thing when they pulled me out of bed, and then it dropped it, right? So then now I'm awake. Now I'm going back to the one that happened not too long ago in Vermont, about 6 miles away. So it pulls my arm up, drops it. I wake up. I'm like, what the fuck was that? Pardon me. I don't like to actually. So and then so now I'm looking around, like, what's going on? And all of a sudden, I feel my arm look. I'm like, what the hell? What the heck? And then I pull it down, right? And then I feel hands pull my arm up this time. And then I'm trying to pull it, and I actually felt resistance. Now, not a lot of resistance, but enough resistance that I had to pull twice to get it, and then it let go. Now, I didn't feel any malevolence at all. Nothing. And this coming from a guy who's used to feeling a lot of malevolence. Like I said, I've been mugged 3 times in my life. Once in the subway with a machete to my neck, and that didn't even come close to the military school thing. That was that there was no malevolence there. The military school thing was crazy. Now the more I think about it, you know what? Maybe since I'm here, I should go check it out. No, I'm not here long enough. It's 2 hours north of where I am. Damn it. I should go back on campus, see if I can get back into those barracks. That would look a little weird, right? Hey, you what are you doing on this? What are you doing in this guy's dorm? That'd be so freaky. I just wanted to check out your room, man. Who knows? Maybe they shut it down. Maybe they locked the room up. Yeah. Yeah, it does sound yeah, I agree. I would say it's mischievous as opposed to malevolent. Because if it was malevolent, one, I think I would have felt it. Two, I think it would have probably done something else to me, right? Because for some reason, I just look, I'm like reviewing this in my mind. I find it amazing that I just turned around and went to bed. It's 3 in the morning and I'm tired. Listen, I'm like, screw it. I'm going to bed. I don't care who's next to me. Could be, something terrible. I'm going to sleep. You want to kill me? Kill me. I'm sleeping. That's probably what I was thinking. Whatever, but I've requested that room every time I've been back to that inn. I've been back to that inn dozens of times since then. And I always ask for that room. One other time I mean, Ethan Allen was in that inn, just so you know. Ethan Allen from the Green Mountain Boys, before they did their attack on Fort Ticonderoga in May of 1775, they actually were staying at this inn. This is where they gathered all the troops together before they marched on Fort Ticonderoga to take it from the British. They were literally staying at this inn. And it's very possible they were even staying in my room. Why do I say that? Because I ask, and I always do ask, for the original rooms. So I was staying in one of the original rooms, not just the original room, the largest original room. I wanted to get the biggest suite possible. So that one is one of and I can see the exposed beams. They are literally the same beams that were there when Ethan Allen was and the Green Mountain Boys and George Washington, all of them were hanging out right there in that inn. It's got a really nice restaurant, top notch, good food. I like that place. It's called the Dorset Inn. I love that place. Yeah, maybe it was curious. Examining a human. Mm. By the way, I've got a great video coming out. It was originally supposed to come out tomorrow. We got it back from post production late, so we're not putting it on tomorrow. I'm gonna put up a Reddit review I did tomorrow. I'm gonna have it come out on Tuesday. Yeah, on Tuesday. MK Often. You've heard of MK Ultra? There's an entire MK family, by the way. There's MK Chipwit. I'm not kidding. There's MK Search. MK Often. And I'm just going to tell you right now, this is a declassified. It's out there in the open. You can find it. It is a government program, does not exist anymore, where they studied the occult. I kid you not, ladies and gentlemen, they studied the occult. They studied the occult. They did some insane things. They actually funded a lecture at the University of North Carolina, funded a course in ritualistic necromancy, raising of the dead, and they 250 students were enrolled in that particular course, and they had paranormal people on staff. The CIA. They hired astrologers. They hired palm readers. $350 a day. And they did some pretty bizarre experiments. That's coming out on Tuesday. I'm really proud of that video. Really wanted it to come out yesterday, but I told post production I'm taking the drive to Vermont. I need the video ahead of time so I can look at it. But they didn't get it to me in time. So now we got to put up this other one, which I really like anyway, because it was a good video. So we'll see what you guys will let me know what you think about it. Okay. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope last time we did this, we put one to bed. I don't know. We put one to bed. I actually found most of them legitimate tonight. Most of these legitimate. And Black Hood gave us the best out of all these ones. My God, these other Reddit ones were kind of tame. My God, the one from last night, the live I did was some guy a glitch in the matrix with his cream cheese in the fridge. People got a lot of time on their hands. I don't know. I'll close it with that thought. You buy cream cheese. It's a brand new fridge. First, they said, brand new fridge. They buy cream cheese. They put it in the fridge. They empty the fridge for some reason. I think probably because they were looking for the cream cheese. That's right. So they empty the fridge because they're looking for the cream cheese. They can't find it. They said they looked through I think they said they turned over every stone in that new fridge is the way they said it. Okay, whatever that means. Couldn't find anything. They sounded methodical about it. So they went and bought another tub. They have receipts. They said they have receipts. Got it. Next day, they open the fridge. They got 2 tubs in there. 2 tubs. That's weird. Is it a glitch in the matrix? I don't know. Like I said, I'd be a little nervous about what that tub is. I would. Would you eat that? Would you eat it? Would you eat the other cream cheese? Depends on the expiration. I would examine it. I would have examined the SKU of the one that disappeared to see, well, it's obviously got to be different because they said they bought another one. Anyway, thanks for joining me live and from Vermont for our Reddit reviews. I hope to see you all next time. Thanks for sharing your story, Blackwood. That was really, really cool. And drop me a line about that. That was fascinating. I have so many questions I want to ask you about that. Damn it. That must have been so scary. Actually, I want to know before you go, when was the last time you were there? You too, Oregon Valley girl. I say Oregon, by the way, and everyone gives it to me for saying that. That's the way we were taught to say it in school. We were taught to say Oregon. It's the Oregon Trail. We always were taught it. And it was like, no, it's Oregon, John. You sound like a schmuck. It's Oregon. I'm like, no. We were taught Oregon. I find out the rest of the country says Oregon. What do I feel like an idiot? Um. Anyway, I don't know if Blackhood may have left, but I was asking him before I go. I want to know if you ever went through that graveyard again. Did you go through that graveyard? You know, post the experience. It's nice to hear. Oh, Oregon Valley, you're so. I wish that I had. I need your a little bit of that attitude. Oh, you're back. Yes, you went many times after that incident. Damn. Did you ever go back at the same time? Like the same time of night? Probably. Actually, here's my next question. Where were you coming from? Maybe that's another factor here. Where were you coming from that night? Were you coming from a party? Were you coming from, I don't know, dropping a Molotov cocktail at at on a tomb? Because maybe it was like what I guess the circumstances gonna left. Okay, so it was just a store. Okay. So you came from the store. Oh, thank you very much. um, so you coming from the store. Okay. Let me ask you something. Or a gas station. Okay. Let me ask you something. You don't have to say where it is, but is it an old area? Like, is it, like, is it, like, it doesn't really matter if it's old. I know, but does it have any history to it? Clearly, it is a graveyard. So I got that. But I wonder, does it have any history to it? Is it a haunted place? Did you look into it? Did you take the time to look into to see maybe what happened there? Listen, I'd be afraid somebody's hiding in the bushes. Although you said there were no bushes, short grass actually, but not true. You've had weird things happen to you, but not necessarily paranormal at all. Yeah. Well, then what kind weird things, but not necessarily paranormal? Okay. Dare I ask what one of those weird things? That's- I want to know. I want to know because now I'm going to be thinking about it for the rest of the night. Yes, it's Oregon Valley, or I'm saying it right all of a sudden. Oregon. I can't. Well, that's weird. All right. Yeah, Vermont is gorgeous right now. It's gorgeous, beautiful right now. Yeah, absolutely. I had to go check my mailbox. I had to come up here and check that, among other things. It's amazing out here. Yeah, the town has a church built in 1248. What the fuck country are you living in? Oh, okay. I was like, that ain't America. Like, there's no 1248 here. I was about to say, what the? Because I was thinking, Massachusetts, that's very old. I know some places in 1600, 12. Damn. Actually, you know what's funny? We did a video on the Pied Piper. That was in the 1200s. And that was in Germany, Hamelin, Germany. And that actually happened. It's historical precedent for that. That's interesting. I wonder if it was near Hamelin. That would be weird. Like a hotel on the coast, things whoosh by, cold air occurrences. Yeah, I would say that's kind of paranormal. Why would you say, yeah, that's definitely paranormal? Just because you're not getting pulled out of bed at night, and in my case, you know, SO'd in my bed, and I don't mean significant other Black Hood. Yeah, you know what I mean? Things creeping up on me, cold air occurrences. Yeah, listen, I really should have stayed in that. I don't know why I didn't book that room. You know what? Maybe I tried. I can't remember. It was last minute. That would have been great, and I could have done my live stream from that room, from the room where I was pulled out of my bed. Now that would have been great. Did you guys get a chance to see the Mel's Hole? Oh my god, that was terrible. That I don't know what's going on with Mel's Hole. This guy, he has a property. Supposedly he has a hole that doesn't end. Sounds very suggestive, but it's not. I'm not talking about that kind of hole. Actual hole in the ground. He dropped a line into it, went 80,000 feet, and he still didn't hit bottom. I think the largest trench they said is 10,000 feet. So it's 80,000 feet, or no, 20,000 feet. I think they said it's the largest. Yeah, there are too many things. I agree. Well, some of these Reddit threads from tonight, I will just say, some of the Reddit threads from tonight were actually pretty credible sounding. They were pretty credible. I can't even believe I'm saying that because the last night, the night before that, not really. Wait till you see the one that comes out tomorrow. You're gonna be like, "What the heck?" We're talking about cream cheese. This one, they're giving details. There's a confluence and a totality of circumstances here that make it credible. Number one, we're getting details, right? Number two, I'm seeing the OP post again. So they're responding. That gives legitimacy to me. Plus, then you click on their profile and you look, you can tell they're not karma farming. So I'm like, all right. I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm like, I get it. I get it. Hey, my now my computer's about to die. Yes, end of the live stream. We did it to the end tonight. Wow, it takes a road trip to Vermont for us to do it to the very end, to the now it's shutting down section. Good night, all. Thanks for joining me. Thank you, Guy Davies. Thank you, Black Hood. Thank you, Oregon Valley Girl. I'll say Oregon. Yeah, I saw that. Thank you, Guy. That's what I said. Thank you, Guy Davies. I definitely saw that. Black Hood. I love that. All right, all. Thank you so much.